Hi everyone, it's Ashley. I just want to give you some curvy yoga tips today. So I'm a curvy yoga certified teacher. Basically, curvy yoga was designed for people with bigger bodies, but I like to think of it, curvy yoga is a way to make space, no matter what type of body you inhabit. So if you have a bigger body, this is great because I'll show you some tips how to work with your belly. And even if you're in a smaller body, maybe awareness of the belly will help with those folds as well. So first things first, we're going to talk about just a seated forward fold today. So if you'd like to try this standing, it also could apply. I'll hopefully have another video about standing later on. So first things first, what do we do when we forward fold? So in a seated forward fold, most of the time you're trying to stretch the back of the leg. So the hamstrings will get a little bit more of a calf. There are different types of forward folding where you might stretch your back, but we'll mostly focus on the hamstrings today. So when we sit down, we're finding our sits bones. So those two bones on the bottom of the hips. So when you ride a bike, the bone that rubs on the bike seat, that's where it is. So for me, I have to shift a little bit to find my sits bones. So I can move back and forth, let the bone settle down, then start to sit up tall. So right away, my body likes to lean back. That's what it naturally wants to do. So I'm going to fight that just a little bit for now, and I'll show you some tricks how to fix it or how to find more comfort. So let's think about the sits bones on the ground and the pelvis. So I grabbed a bowl to kind of demo this. So we'll think of this bowl as our pelvis. The bottom part are the sits bones, these two parts. So when you sit up on the floor, it's nice and flat, so we're nice and tall. So when we fold, we want to imagine dumping out water out of the bowl. So we're thinking about the bowl here, and when we fold, we're starting that fold from the pelvis. So it's dumping it out and kind of rolling forward. So think of it as a bowl. That's our visual cue. So sit up tall, tall spine, top of the reaches forward. Start to walk the hands forward. Hinging from the hips, we're pouring out that bowl of water, and let the head come down, chin tucks to the chest just a little bit, so we're keeping that spine in line. So I'm not coming down far at all. I'm feeling that stretch already, and then come back up. Also, a reminder, I like to point the toes towards the ceiling because it will also give me a longer stretch from the back of the legs. So finding that length. So when I forward folded, that pelvis tilt was a little bit hard for me because I kind of naturally want to go back. So to help with that, you could always use a blanket. So this is not a magic blanket. You can use a towel. You can use a comforter. I just have this one lying around. So what you do is come on this blanket, you're gonna put your sits bones on the blanket. So you're not putting your whole glute on the blanket. You're coming way to the edge. So you're scooting to the edge, so that sits bones there again. So now I'm already in a natural pelvic tilt, kind of like a little pull forward, and then sit up tall. Take an inhale, and then exhale, hinge from the hips, kind of tilting the pelvic bowl out, that bowl of water, coming forward and relaxing. So now I'm feeling a pretty monstrous stretch in the back of the leg. So you would just keep it a neutral spine here, stay here as long as you like, and then inhale to come back up. So let's say coming down, there's a lot of compression in the belly area. So another trick to add, our curvy yoga trick mostly, I like to take my hands right to my, kind of like my hip bones that stick out in the front, bring my hands there, take an inhale, and then start to lift the belly up. The reason I would do this, I'm kind of giving space between that pelvic area, so that way I can fold and have a little bit less compression here. So it's a lift up with your inhale, and then exhale, start to keep lifting, start to fold under, and then relax down. So I gained a little bit more length here by folding forward. And just stay here as long as you like, and then come back up when ready. So that's my way of doing it. Some other people, curvy yoga teachers do the same way, but it's good to experiment what works, maybe pressing in and lifting up, or maybe just a slight touch to remind yourself to lengthen and fold forward. Last thing, blocks. So blocks, let's say that there is a lot of compression in the belly and the thigh area, or even the chest and the legs if you're folding down to touch the chest. Blocks are great. So these are just standard yoga blocks. You don't have to use blocks. You could use a textbook. Right now I'm stacking the phone on an anatomy textbook and a cookbook. So use those textbooks or books you have around the house as props. Reminder though, do not put your full body weight on a textbook or a prop unless you know it's completely safe to do so. You don't want to tip over. But here, since we're seated in that balanced pose, it should be fine. So we can place our hands on the block. You can place them on the tallest setting, medium, lower, whatever one you want. I like this tall setting. So sit up tall. You can start with the belly lift if you'd like, lifting up, then forward folding. And let's say you want a little bit more support. Hands can come right to those blocks. Let's even bring them down, put the whole forearm here. Thinking about that pelvic area tilting, that's where the energy starts, the pose starts. And then pause. Inhale, come back up when you're ready. You can stay there as long as you like and come back up. So that's our ways to forward fold, giving ourselves more space. Oh, quick thing. You don't have to forward fold with the feet hip distance apart. That's another way to get around this if you want more space. Last trick, bonus trick, bring your feet further apart. Maybe it's a wide-legged forward fold, maybe a medium to wide forward fold. That way your belly and chest can fold right between the legs. We're still getting a hamstring stretch here, so if it feels better, go ahead and do it that way, experiment. You can just hold here as long as you like, and even add the blocks back right to the middle of the legs. And then come up when ready. So thank you for watching.